Honourable members, item 7, statements. The budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending 31st December 2025. Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, on the authority of His Excellency the President, President John Dramani Mahama, and pursuant to Article 179 of the Constitution and the other paper and the standing orders of the House, Order 1952, and today's order paper, item 7. Mr. Speaker, I present to you the budget statement and economic policy of government for the year ending 31st December 2025. Right Honourable Speaker, today marks a moment of great significance, and I have the singular honor to stand before this House to present, on behalf of His Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama, following his extraordinary mandate, the maiden budget of his new administration. Mr. Speaker, Right Honourable Speaker, the key policy intervention to support economic transformation and job creation agenda include the following. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy aimed at stimulating economic growth by creating an enabling environment for businesses and institutions to operate 24/7 in 3 shifts of 8 hours each to boost production, promote productivity, and generate well-paying jobs. We will be presenting the policy to Parliament in due course for consideration. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, the Labour Act, the GIPC Act, and other enabling legislations will be reviewed to support the 24-hour economy policy. Right Honourable Speaker, we will roll out the implementation of the $10 billion Big Push policy for strategic infrastructure development to open up the country and drive sustainable economic growth. Right Honourable Speaker, the Ghana Gold Board will be established in the course of the year and as soon as possible. So, Speaker, we will stabilize the Ghana cedi and provide stability to the macroeconomy. We will implement an economic transformational agenda underpinned by structural reforms anchored on promoting modernized agriculture, agribusiness, and value addition for import substitution, export, and job creation. Mr. Speaker, we will complement monetary policy with fiscal and real sector policies to reduce inflation. Food inflation will be reduced through the implementation of the Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda, anchored on our 24-hour economy. Right Honourable Speaker, we will undertake key structural reforms to support inclusive economic growth, fiscal and debt sustainability, sound public financial management, efficient public service delivery, and good governance. Mr. Speaker, we will restructure the Bank of Ghana to strengthen its independence and operationalize its efficiency mandate. Mr. Speaker, we will ensure that social protection is adequately catered for in the course of the year. We will use government procurement to drive Made in Ghana agenda to promote production and consumption of Made in Ghana goods. Right Honourable Speaker, to demonstrate this agenda, as I said, I came to this House with a presentation of a bag proudly made in Ghana by Horseman. Mr. Speaker, this should be encouraged. Right Honourable Speaker, beginning this year, we will formalize the export of Ghanaian labour to other countries. We will ensure a structured and beneficial system for Ghanaian workers seeking employment abroad and create safer legal pathway for them to work in foreign countries whilst protecting their rights and welfare. Mr. Speaker, this will also reduce illegal migration, prevent worker exploitation, and maximize the economic benefits of remittance and boost foreign exchange earnings. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I now take you to how these resources will be allocated in the year 2025. Mr. Speaker, we will provide a cedi equivalent of $279 million as a revolving fund for the Ghana Gold Board to be able to purchase and export at least 3 tons of gold per week from small-scale miners. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated 13.85 billion Ghana cedis for Big Push project. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated 13.85 billion Ghana cedis for the Big Push program. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 499.8 million Ghana cedis has been allocated for the non-academic fee policy for all first-year students in public tertiary institutions under the No Fee Stress initiatives. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated an amount of 292.4 million Ghana cedis to commence the distribution of free sanitary pads to female students in primary and secondary schools. Mr. Speaker, we have allocated again an amount of 242.5 million Ghana cedis to support the victim of Akosombo Dam spillage. Right Honorable Speaker, we have also allocated an amount of 200 million Ghana cedis to support the victim of tidal wave disaster that recently displaced resident in certain part of K2 South constituency. Mr. Speaker, the overarching concern about free secondary education has been its quality and the absence of dedicated sources of financing. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has resolved it. Mr. Speaker, let me take this again. The overarching concern about free secondary education has been its quality and the absence of a dedicated sources of funding. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has resolved the funding challenges by uncapping the GET fund. Mr. Speaker, this makes available dedicated funding for full financing of free senior secondary school education and free tertiary education for persons with disability. Mr. Speaker, therefore, Capping and Realignment Act will be amended to uncap the Ghana Education Trust Fund. Mr. Speaker, this year, the budget for free senior secondary school education program is 3.5 billion Ghana cedis. By uncapping the GET fund, we will be making available an additional 4.1 billion Ghana cedis, specifically for financing free secondary education program and other related expenditures. Mr. Speaker, aside the uncapping of GET fund, we have also absorbed the debt service made up of interest and principal from the Dache bond that GET fund contracted. Right Honorable Speaker, we have also allocated an amount of 564.6 million Ghana cedis for the provision of curriculum-based textbooks covering the following. 1, 4 sets of KG books and workbooks for about 2.8 million learners. Mr. Speaker, we have also provided for 4 sets of primary textbooks for about 800,000 learners. Mr. Speaker, we have also provided for 9 sets of SHS textbooks for about 540,000 learners. Right Honorable Speaker, under the school feeding program, budgetary provision has been increased from the 1.3 billion Ghana cedis last year to 1.78 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, representing a 33% increase. The allocation for 2025 reflects an increase in feeding costs per meal, per child, from the 1 cedi 50 pesos to 2 cedis, representing 33.3%. Mr. Speaker, the government has also allocated 145.5 million Ghana cedis to the capitation grant, up from 84 million Ghana cedis in 2024. This is an increase of 73.4% over the previous year. Mr. Speaker, we have also allocated 203 million Ghana cedis for the payment of teacher training allowances and another 480 million Ghana cedis to nursing training allowances. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, we have uncapped the National Health Insurance Levy. Mr. Speaker, we have uncapped the National Health Insurance Levy. An amount of about 10 billion Ghana cedis has been programmed for the National Health Insurance Scheme. And this amount is expected to be used for the following: claim payments, essential medicine, vaccine payment, free primary health care, the Ghana Medical Care Trust, Mr. Speaker, and bridging the USAID financing shortfall. Mr. Speaker, in the year 2025, government will continue to implement reforms and increase budgetary allocation to enhance the implementation of 4 targeted social protection programs, namely National Health Insurance, the LEAP program, the school feeding program, and the capitation grant. Right, Honorable Speaker, under the LEAP program, beneficiaries will be increased from the current 350,000 to 400,000 beginning July 2025. The allocation of 728.8 million Ghana cedis for last year has been increased to 953.5 million Ghana cedis in the year 2025. So, Speaker, we have also uncapped the road fund. An amount of 2.81 billion Ghana cedis has been programmed for the Ghana Road Fund to be used solely for road maintenance. This represents an increase of 155% over the 2024 allocation of 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, we have also allocated an amount of 7.5 billion Ghana cedis to the District Assembly Common Fund. In accordance with our decentralization policy, we propose to Parliament that a minimum of 80% of the funds allocated to the District Assembly Common Fund should be sent directly to the district assemblies to spur economic growth and at the district level to deepen decentralization. Right, Honorable Speaker, I repeat, we have allocated an amount of 7.5 billion Ghana cedis to the district assemblies common fund. Mr. Speaker, in accordance with our decentralization policy and objective, we propose to Parliament that a minimum of 80% of the funds should be sent directly to the district assemblies to spur economic growth at the district level and deepen decentralization. Mr. Speaker, it is worth noting that in a stark contrast to what has happened recently at the District Assembly Common Fund, where only 50% of the released amount are sent to the District Assembly for the purposes of running the assemblies. Mr. Speaker, we have also allocated an amount of 1.5 billion Ghana cedis for Agriculture for Economic Transformational Program, of which Feed Ghana, Ghana Grains Development Project, Vegetable Development project and Nkoko Nketenkete are all key components of the program. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have also allocated 51.3 million Ghana cedis as seed fund for the establishment of the Women's Development Bank. Mr. Speaker, we have also allocated 300 million Ghana cedis to the National Apprenticeship Program. Mr. Speaker, I repeat, we have also allocated an amount of 300 million Ghana cedis to the National Apprenticeship Program. Right, Honorable Speaker, we have also allocated an amount of 100 million Ghana cedis to the Edumewura Program. Mr. Speaker, an amount of 100 million Ghana cedis has been allocated to the National Codes Program. Mr. Speaker, another amount of 100 million Ghana cedis has been allocated for the payment of monthly allowance to all assembly members. Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, sector ministers will be presenting to this House a detailed sectorial performance and outlook, as well as, Mr. Speaker, sector ministers will be presenting to this House a detailed sectorial performance and outlook, as well as sector-specific policy interventions to deal with the challenges of various MDAs. So, Speaker, I want to repeat this. So, Speaker, sector ministers will be presenting to this House a detailed sectorial performance and outlook, as well as specific sector interventions to deal with the challenges of various MDAs. This is indeed a departure from the norm, where ministers of finance present detailed sectorial performance as part of their budget speech. So, Speaker, I believe sector ministers must be made to do so. Right, Honorable Speaker, in conclusion. So, Speaker, in conclusion. Mr. Speaker, the state of the economy, as I have presented, does not reflect an economy that has turned the corner. It reflects an economy in severe distress, burdened with debt repayment harms, mismanagement, and lack of accountability. The budget sets Ghana on a path of fiscal responsibility, debt sustainability, macroeconomic stability, and job creation. It is about resetting the economy and restoring hope. Ghanaians reaffirmed their faith in a better future when they actively participated in the National Economic Dialogue on the 3rd and 4th of March 2025. A key outcome of the dialogue was the confirmation that the fundamental problem with our economy is fiscal indiscipline. The NPP administration awarded contracts outside the expenditure framework. They borrowed over and above Ghana's capacity to repay. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahamad's administration will be fiscally disciplined and deliver improved public service to our people in a cost-effective manner. Mr. Speaker, we remain steadfast in meeting the IMF program target while restoring Ghana's creditworthiness. We have achieved a lot in a short time, but this is only the beginning. Our commitment to reform we will not waver on that, Mr. Speaker. We have achieved a lot in this short time, and our commitment to reform will not waver. Those who doubt our resolve should not underestimate the determination of the people of Ghana, who will no longer tolerate ineffective governance. Together, we will navigate these turbulent times and emerge stronger. Mr. Speaker, we are making serious progress. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are making progress. We committed to running a lean, efficient government of 60 ministers. Mr. Speaker, we have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to scrapping the E-Levy. We have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to scrapping the burden tax. We have delivered. Right, Honorable Speaker, we committed to eliminate academic fee for first-year public tertiary students. We have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to providing free tertiary education for all people with disability. We have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to providing dedicated source of funding for free secondary education. We have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to distributing sanitary pads to our schoolgirls. We have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to uncap Get Fund. We have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to uncap the National Health Insurance. We have delivered. Right, Honorable Speaker, we committed to uncap the road fund to maintain our roads. We have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to hold a national forum on education. We have delivered. Right, Honorable Speaker, we committed to hold a national dialogue on the economy. We have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to deliver free primary health care. We have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to deliver Mahama Care Program to finance the treatment of non-communicable disease. Mr. Speaker, we have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to deliver free textbooks to school children. We have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to begin the implementation of $10 million Big Push program. Mr. Speaker, we have delivered. Mr. Speaker, we committed to constitute a review process for our constitution. Mr. Speaker, we are delivering. Mr. Speaker, we committed to build the Ghana we want together. We are delivering. Right, Honorable Speaker, we committed to recover all looted state funds under our Operation Recover All Loot program. We are delivering. Mr. Speaker, we committed to reset Ghana. We are delivering. Right, Honorable Speaker, I call on Parliament, the business community, civil society, investors, and all citizens to support the bold reforms outlined in this budget. Together, Mr. Speaker, we have the power to build a resilient economy that will help us tackle the challenges we face as a country. This budget is a foundation upon which we will build a more resilient and equitable society. Mr. Speaker, this budget is not just about numbers. It is about a blueprint for growth, stability, and opportunity. With unity and determination, we can restore faith in our economy, foster innovation, and uplift every Ghanaian. Mr. Speaker, with unity and determination, I repeat, we can restore faith in our economy, foster innovation, and uplift every Ghanaian. Right, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of His Excellency the President, I invite this House to join hands with us as we work to build the Ghana we want together. Mr. Speaker, I thank you so much. E-Levy, Keke.
Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. The Minister for Finance has taken 1 hour 40 minutes to make the statement. And I believe by our standing orders, the statement time is ended. We now move on to the commencement of public business. Item 8, presentation of papers. The following papers to be presented. Presentation of papers. The following papers to be presented. 8A by the Minister for Finance.
Annual report on the Petroleum Fund for the 2024 fiscal year.
Honorable members, this refers to 8A Roman 1, and this has been presented and is referred to the Finance Committee for consideration and report to the House. We now move on to 8A Roman 2.
Annual report on the collection and utilization of the African Union Import Levy for the 2024 fiscal year.
Honorable members, this report is also duly laid and is referred to the Finance Committee for consideration and report to the House. I would now want to hear from the leaders. I saw the minority leader give an indication that he may want to have a word. Yes. Yes, minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, this afternoon we have been presented with part 2 of the lamentation series. The part 1, Mr. Speaker, the part 1 was Mahamanomics. The part 2 is Forcenomics. And it's very clear, Mr. Speaker, that under the economy that they complain about, the growth was 5.7%. And under the research economy, the growth is rather going down. You are projecting a 4-point-something growth. That is what you are doing. Mr. Speaker, the economy that they complain about left us with 4 months of import cover, and they are projecting under reset 3 months. Mr. Speaker, these are the very people who managed the economy up to 2016 and left us with some IPP debts. Today, they are telling us that they are coming to renegotiate the very disaster they left us. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Minority
Mr.
Leader.
Speaker, we are not debating today. We are giving an indication.
Honorable Minority Leader, please be guided by Order 91.
Mr. Speaker, exactly so. Very, very guided by that. Mr. Speaker, I may read Order 91.
Your statement was that you are not debating today.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, we are not making comment on it. We are not going to make comment today. 91, Mr. Speaker, when he makes a statement, we are supposed to comment on it.
Yes.
Yes, so I'm saying that we are not going to engineer the comment today. Because, Mr. Speaker, they are not ready. We are ready, but we think they are not ready.
Minority
so I'm
Leader.
only going to give an indication. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, let the Minority Leader enjoy his bona fides for this minute. Just relax, Mr. Speaker.
I only want to draw your attention to the fact that you can only make comments.
Very well.
And the comments, not more than 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, in commenting on this statement by the Finance Minister, it is clear to all of us in this chamber that today they decided to populate this chamber Mr. Speaker,
5
populated this chamber with their members only to come
Honorable Minority
and
Leader.
Say, yeah, Mr. Speaker.
The Minister for Finance did not talk about the population of the chamber. So that is not part of the statement of the minister. Please.
Mr. Speaker, I noticed that when the finance minister came to present his statement, for the first time after the inauguration, the swearing in, the majority side was heavily populated. Mr. Speaker, that notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, we have witnessed what we can best describe as an Azan budget. Mr. Speaker, they are on much talked about for 24-hour economy. The president came here, they said it was not ready. The finance minister comes here, and again, the 24-hour economy policy is not included in his budget statement. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the youth of this country have been waiting for this 24-hour economy policy. The minister tells us the policy will be brought later. Hey, Ato, the policy will be brought later. Mr. Speaker, it is clear that all the jobs they promised the youth of this country was merely an Azan promise. Mr. Speaker, there is no inspiration from this budget. There is no hope in this budget. The repetition of the social intervention programs, Mr. Speaker, and then the minister complained that some contracts at the road sector had no commencement certificate. Go to the Chain Homes Road. There is a road construction on the Chain Homes. There is a new road being constructed to the 10 rooms with a new runabout. There is no commencement. We did a search. There is no commencement. There is no PP approval. You are doing, Mr. Speaker, you have started construction only at the Chain Homes.
Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Minority Leader, please, comments. I have given you a privilege. Don't abuse it.
Mr. Speaker, I shall conclude my comment by saying that whereas the Minister of Finance told us that there will be heavy sanctions against all those who go contrary to the PFM Act. Under his own administration, the Chain Homes Road is being constructed now. A new runabout is being constructed. Meanwhile, there is no commencement certificate. Meanwhile, there is no PP approval. Mr. Speaker, the sanctions must start with his own ministers. Mr. Speaker, we are ready for our comments. We know they are not ready, but if the minister is going to stay, Mr. Speaker, let us start the comments on this budget statement here and now, because this Azan budget, we cannot allow it to get onto the shelves for Ghanaians to think that there is any hope. Mr. Speaker, there is going to be comment to expose them. Thank you very much.
Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader and I share something in common. We were both assemblymen. And when the Minister of Finance made the unprecedented announcement of a gargantuan sum of money for assemblymen, I saw the gleeful smile on his face. Unfortunately, it will not apply to ex-assemblymen. Mr. Speaker, this clearly is a budget of a government and a party that keeps its promises. Almost every promise that was made by John Dramani Mahama is being fulfilled in less than 120 days. This budget is a budget for Makola women. This budget is a budget for assemblymen. This budget is a budget for girls. This budget, sanitary pads, students, girls, students, sanitary pads, there's sanitary pads. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, it seems to me that the men on this side have started using sanitary pads. Because the sanitary pads is for the female students. That's why I said girls. Mr. Speaker, this is a budget for school children. They will now get the set of textbooks that they need to study. And peace of mind. Mr. Speaker, this is a budget that delivers solid reforms. And this is a budget that is moving our growth from Galamsey growth to real growth. Mr. Speaker, by the time we finish implementing this budget, and by the time we finish implementing the three that will come after this one, Osunu Baya Nkitikiti. Osunu Baya Nkitikiti. Osunu Nkitikiti. To wit, Mr. Speaker, the elephant will become small. Osunu Baya Nkitikiti.
Majority Leader. Majority Leader, the Minister for Finance did not talk about Osunu. So, Osunu is not part of the statement. Please.
Speaker wants to rub it in. Mr. Speaker, on that note, I want to assure my friend, the Minority Leader, that the road at Chain Homes that is being done is not a new project. It's not a new project. So don't There's something else you want me to add. There's something else you want me to add. There's something else you want me to add. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, this is a budget. This is a budget that gives hope to Ghanaians. This is a budget that will stabilize the economy. This is a budget that will create jobs for the youth of this country. Because this is a budget that will stabilize the economy and provide the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive and create jobs for the youth of this country. Mr. Speaker, fishermen, Okada riders, taxi drivers, students, and the energy sector is going to be salvaged by the implementation of this budget. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Minister of Finance for making the statement and to assure my friend, the minority leader, that we are ready to debate their records and our records, and we are ready to demonstrate that the proposals contained in the statement of the Minister of Finance will indeed reset Ghana. Ghana is being reset. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, as I stated earlier on, this statement is not to be debated. You are to make comments on the statement. And to guide you, we are going to provide a few things for members because it's a transition. We used to debate budgets by making it a motion. Our standing orders from experience guided us to change it to a statement. And so last budget was a statement. And this one too is a statement. So it's a new field. And you need some guidance as to what to do during the course of that. If not, the Speaker will have a hell of trouble managing the House. So what we intend to do is to exhibit at the foyer budget statements since independence. You can go to the foyer and you get the budget statement since independence. We also have soft copies of handouts of budget statements with the pictures of the various ministers of finance. They will all be on display for you to go and either have a picture view or request for a copy so that you can, at your own leisure, go through it yourselves. There is a viewing session now of what has happened today, and that one too is available as a side attraction. You can go and have access and view it. We believe that this will assist you, and as we do that, we may focus on some of you, and we particularly want to project the excellent inputs that our ladies make on the floor as part of the affirmative action, the law that we passed. So we will give the ladies a priority of place in this feature. So with this, honorable members, I will proceed, since we've not yet done 5 hours, to put a question. And then you decide whether we should adjourn or not. So I'm going to put the question. Honorable members, I will allow the leaders to move the motion. So I will call on the minority leader. The minority leader wants to move the motion for adjournment.
Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I believe that since 7th January, this is the first time the majority is entering this in full. So we can do some 2 more hours of comment before we move the motion for adjournment. So, Mr. Speaker, this is the first time we are having a full house. So, Mr. Speaker, let's give them the opportunity to comment, especially those who are not regular in this chamber. So, once we are done, we can then move the motion to adjourn the House. Mr. Speaker, that is my humble prayer. I don't know whether they would agree, but if they are in a hurry to go back home, Mr. Speaker, I would therefore move that this House be adjourned to enable them go back home.
Yes, majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, what the minority leader says is a reflection of the constitution of this site. It's testimony to the fact that when they are needed, they will be here. When they are needed, they will be here.
Honorable members,
Mr. Speaker,
honorable members, please, honorable members. The Winneba choir sings I want to repeat it. I'm sure you didn't hear what I was trying to say. The Winneba choir sings better than you all. Majority Leader, you may now go on.
Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that the minority have withdrawn from participating in the involvement in the development of this country. They started it and then they got the response. Mr. Speaker, on that note, I second the motion for adjournment.
Honorable members, those in favor of the motion for adjournment, say aye. Those against the motion for adjournment, say no. Majority leader, yes.
Mr. Speaker, there's rebellion on this side of the House because their leader moved the motion and they are rebelling against their leader. Leader, put your house in order.
Honorable Majority
Watch
Leader.
your back.
Please. That is democracy. They are entitled to disagree, even with their leader. But yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I have a very peaceful caucus. Mr. Speaker, I moved the motion for adjournment for the benefit of the majority. I said to enable them go home and rest. But we are ready to work. So they are right. Lani has seconded, meaning that his people are tired.
Honorable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. This House stands adjourned to tomorrow at 10 in the forenoon. The House is adjourned.